Hey guys, it is Thursday and time for another 3-minute video. I had an interesting question that came through on askvtecacademy@gmail.com, and it goes like this. Hey, I was just wondering if you could give me tips on exactly what would be needed for a K24 swap into an EP3. What can I reuse? What do I need? There's not much info on the EP3, and I just wanted to double check. Also, I wanted to know what I would need if I used the JDM K24. I heard there's a couple of differences when it comes to the pulley mounts. As I said, I just wanted to double check. I've heard about using the CRV engine mount to make things slightly cheaper, but I don't know. Thank you. So let's talk briefly about the K24. On any K24 block you're going to use, by the way, you can use K24 A1, A2, A4, A8, or the JDM K24A, but what you can't use is the K24Z. That's not true. You can use it, but it's more complicated, so don't use it. Anyway, all of those blocks need, first off, a different block bracket, and that needs to be either from an Element or from a CRV. And you can also use one of the aftermarket ones like Passport's Universal K-Series block bracket. That'll work as well. Now, there's some differences with the different blocks. Let's start off with the K24A1. If you're using that, basically what you want to do is you want to use the intake manifold and throttle body off your EP3 on that particular engine. You can use the harness. It all works really, really well. That you can just basically slap in the car as is, and it'll work actually pretty good even without a tune, but you do want to tune it at some point. Next would be the K24 A4 or A8. That's your Accord motor. Again, you can put that engine in. You're going to want to use the intake manifold and a drive-by cable throttle body from like 2003 to 2005 Accord. You can use the EP3 manifold, but to do that, you're going to have to use a manifold adapter plate. Hasport makes one, I'm sure some other, and I believe the K-Tuner makes like a little adapter you can use as well. If you want to use your, your one from your EP3, but you're going to lose torque, mid-range torque if you do that. Next engine would be the K24A2. That's the one from the TSX. Again, use the Accord drive-by cable throttle body. That motor can go right in. But on the K24A2, A8, A4, you're going to wind up adapting the harness a little bit because you're going to have to be able to reach the TPS, which is in a different place. You're going to have to rewire that. You're going to have to be able to reach the map sensor in a slightly different position. You're going to need to rewire that, or lengthen the wires. The crank angle sensor, might as well pull the one off of your EP3 motor, use it. That way you don't have to repin that particular part of the harness. But that is a fairly easy swap as well. Next, you have the JDM engine. The JDM engine is a little bit different. Let's look real quickly at that. Here is a side view of it. Look at the alternator right here. If you'll notice, the bolts that hold the alternator on come in like transversely. They come, in line with the engine. On the EP3 and all the other cars, they come in like this. So basically what you want to do is you want to take your EP3 water pump housing, water pump, alternator, tensioner, and idler pulley, and you want to bolt those all onto this. Use the manifold that comes with it. It's basically the same manifold that comes on the TSX, and you should still be able to get 200 horsepower, but that's the modifications you're going to need to do to that engine in order to use it in your EP3. Again, crank pulley, and you're going to have to probably lengthen a few wires so stuff reaches. The throttle position sensor works a little bit. You're going to have to use the throttle body from the Accord again, 2003-2005 Accord. You're going to have to rewire that sensor. One other thing you're going to find in common with the Accord motors, TSX motor, and of course the JDM motor is this thermostat housing. Yours wants to point downward at an angle. So what I suggest you do is you buy the RDX thermostat housing. It bolts right in place and it has the correct direction for that to work. We've actually done that swap in an EP3. At some point, I should probably go over this a little bit more in depth, but that should answer your question for today. If you need more details, of course, feel free to drop us a line at askvtecacademy.com, and I can tell me what engine you have, and I can tell you specifically what modifications you have to make. Anyway, guys, that's been your probably a little longer than 3-Minute Thursday. Thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next Thursday.